Why did Bette Davis have to rush to her personal doctor during the making of Marked Woman? Find out as we take a deep dive into the film Marked Woman. The 1937 American dramatic crime film noir Marked Woman was directed by Lloyd Bacon and starred Bette Davis and Humprey Bogart. Marked Lady is a film set in Manhattan's underbelly about a woman who defies one of the city's most powerful criminals. The film was a huge hit for Warner Brothers and one of Davis's early films. Davis had recently launched a complaint against Warner's, citing the poor quality of the screenplays she was expected to play as one of the reasons for her dissatisfaction. Despite the fact that she lost the lawsuit, she received a lot of notoriety, and Marked Woman was the first script she filmed when she returned to Hollywood. She was said to be ecstatic with the writing and the dramatic opportunities it provided. Jack L. Warner was claimed to be similarly pleased with the overwhelming popular support for Davis, which he correctly predicted would boost the attractiveness and profitability of her films. Humprey Bogart and Mayo Methot, who co-starred in the film Marked Woman, were said to have met on the site and married in 1938. Background. Despite the fact that the story is fictitious, Marked Woman is loosely based on the real-life crime-fighting exploits of Thomas E. Dewey, a Manhattan district attorney who became a national celebrity in the 1930s and a two-time Republican Party presidential nominee in the 1940s due to his fight against organized crime in New York City. Dewey was responsible for the indictment and conviction of several important gangsters, but his most notable triumph was the conviction of Lucky Luciano, the city's organized crime chief. Luciano was found guilty of rings in American history thanks to the testimony of countless girls. Hollywood studios made multiple films about Dewey's escapades as a result of his dramatic triumphs. One of the most well-known was Marked Woman. Dewey is portrayed by Humphrey Bogart as David Graham. Due to censorship, Warner Brothers made the women's jobs nightclub hostesses after purchasing the right from a Liberty series on Luciano. Plot. Johnny Vanning, a notorious underworld tycoon, buys and renames a glitzy New York nightclub, Club Intimate. To secure Mary, Gabby, Emmy Lou, Flory, and Estelle's allegiance and obedience, he exploits and mistreats the club's hostesses. Mary entices a young man to gamble and lose more money than he can afford at the club as part of her profession. He tells her on the way home that he can't pay back the gambling debt since he doesn't have the funds. He thinks it's all a ruse, but Mary warns him he's in grave danger and that he needs to get out of town as soon as possible. Soon after, she learns that he has been murdered by Vanning's henchman Charlie Delaney, which saddens her but not surprises her. Vanning is brought by trial by District Attorney David Graham, who believes he has a strong case against him. But Mary and the other women refuse to implicate him for fear of retaliation from Vanning. Betty, Mary's younger sister, pays a visit, oblivious to the precarious predicament she has found herself in, and attends Emmy Lou's party at Vanning's club. She is picked up by one of Vanning's friends, Bob Crandall, and returns to the woman's flat after dancing with him. Betty, despite Mary's wishes, returns to the club, despite Mary's admonition. Crandall approaches her again, but she rejects his advances. Vanning steps in and hits her, sending her tumbling down the stairs. Mary threatens to testify against the gangster, but his thugs assault her and leave scars on her face, knifing a cross on her cheek after she passes out. Instead of silencing her, she becomes the Marked Woman of the title, which reinforces her desire to testify. The other women agree to testify as well, knowing the only way to be free of the mobster is to find the strength to stand up to him. They use evidence from the state against Vanning. Notes from the crew. Jane Wyman had been cast as Flory by Warner Brothers at first. The Motion Picture Producers and Distributors of America, MPPDA, founded in 1922 by the film industry, regulated the content of films by reviewing scripts in accordance with the 1930 Motion Picture Production Code. As a result, the Luciano trial featured nightclub hostesses. The gangster's racket is portrayed as illegal gambling, and the crime is transformed into a murder in the film. Under the working title, The Men Behind, Marked Woman began shooting on December 9, 1936 at Warner Brothers Studios in Burbank. While Lloyd Bacon was on his honeymoon, director Michael Curtis stepped in for him. Davis was upset with the scant bandaging that had been utilized when she was made up for the hospital scene, so she drove to her personal doctor during her lunch break, outlined the injuries that the script called for, and had him bandage her correctly. When Davis arrived to the studio, a security officer noticed her bandages and informed executive producer Hal B. Wallace that she had been in an accident. Marked Woman was re-released in 1947 by Warner's reception. Graham Greene gave the film a positive review in Night and Day in 1937, stating that as a noir film, it's been done, of course, but it's never been done better than in some of these moments. Greene appreciated Cianelli's performance, claiming that he was able to convey not only corruption, but the pain of corruption. But he was disappointed by Davis' performance, which he stated plugs the emotions with horrible abandonment. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive of The Marked Woman. Come back for more deep dives into your favorite films.